It's Gianna, with Insuring Crypto, where we keep you in the loop on all the latest trends and news of crypto and blockchain technology. Together, we're building a crypto movement that fights for climate justice and economic empowerment. Today, we have a very special guest on our show. We have Adam Hofmann. He's the founder of Nimble. Nimble is a project on the Algorand blockchain. So he's going to talk about his story and all about Nimble and why he decided to do this project. Hi, Adam. Thanks for having us on the show.
Oh my God, I'm so happy to be here. Yeah,
thanks for reaching out. I know you saw our video on your partnership with Verita, and yeah, I wanted to get more details about what you're up to and just like how you got to where you are today.
Absolutely, happy to share any details.
Yeah. So the very first thing that we have for people on the show is that we ask people, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word crypto and why?
I think for me, the word would be opportunity. And I love how you use that in your intro here with empowerment, because there's a lot of talk around what's happening in the crypto space, and it's really exciting, and insurance isn't the sexiest topic, but I do believe that what we have the opportunity to do is provide opportunity to empower people to control their own data, to control who accesses that, but also to give them opportunities to participate in ways, in Nimble specifically, in ways that they haven't been able to in the insurance process. So I'm excited for the future, with Web3 and blockchain and all the opportunities it will provide.
Totally. Yeah, I like that word opportunity. And I think that's the goal, at least for a lot of projects with blockchain, to empower people and give people who maybe didn't have the opportunity in the past to maybe get out of poverty or gain control over their own data.
Absolutely. It removes a lot of the subjectivities too, right? Like in insurance, especially, there's a lot of subjectivity, I think I want to underwrite this risk, but then I don't know if I want to. That person may seem risky. You can get rid of that, which is nice.
Yeah, totally. So I wanted to know, how did you get started on this? What's your story? How did you get to where you are? I'm super curious.
Yeah, me too. I'm still figuring it all out, but I went to Berklee College of Music, so that was my. So I played piano. I left Berklee and did the music thing for a bit. And then my wife and I, we started our family and started to raise our family, and I transitioned over to insurance. I spent 22 years there in insurance, doing a bit of everything. Claims for a time. I ran an agency. I did risk management for corporate and commercial clients, things like that. And the way I explain it is, when I went from doing music to insurance, it was pretty like, oh my God, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But 22 years later, I left saying, yeah, this still doesn't make any sense. The systems are inefficient. They're bloated. They don't do, it's not equitable for everybody. So, once there was information about, blockchain and crypto, I started to kind of really dig in there and saw an opportunity there to solve a lot of these problems using that technology.
That's so interesting. So you went from music, insurance to blockchain. So how did you make that leap? How did you start? Do you start just like researching on your own, or how did you start just like making the transition?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think, for me, just the way I am, my personality is like super curious and always excited about new things. And my brain likes change and likes fast-paced anything really. And I think, like most people in this space, once I started to dig in and go down the rabbit hole, it fascinated me. And I'm used to that kind of pace. I have 5 kids. My wife and I, we have 5 kids. So we're always, we're doing a lot all the time. So it got me really, the only way I can explain it really is like, it lit up my brain, right? Like for a long time in insurance, you get in 22 years in a career, you get used to the same thing.
Yeah.
And with this, it popped, and I started thinking about how to apply it. And the more I talked to people, brought in advisors on and things like that, the more exciting it got. And so I just keep going.
Nice. I guess what advice would you give to someone then if they're maybe in some other career right now and they want to make this change and get into blockchain?
No, that's a really great question that I've never really thought of an answer for. But I think it's exciting. I think that there's a lot of skepticism about it, and some people are proponents, some people are opponents of it. But I think that if you're curious about it, if it's something you're interested in, talk to people, reach out to anyone, reach out to me if you want. I'm fine with that. Like, the one thing, and you said it at the beginning, is that I found making a transition from corporate insurance world to this startup blockchain world is the level of support in the community. It's just, it just gives you energy. So if you're curious about it, if you have questions, there's no scarcity of resources, but make sure you do your research, right? But there's small ways to start, and then maybe you have the next great idea. So don't put it to sleep, right? Keep thinking about it.
So how long did it take from like your first initial research phase to like having this become Nimble?
Yeah. So talk about putting it to sleep. We were making some nice headway, a lot of good conversations with a lot of people. And this was in 2018.
Okay.
So a while ago. And then things happened for me, for my career, that I kind of put it on hold, and it came back. So Benji Rogers is one of my advisors. He has constantly prodded me for that whole 3 years, 2018 to 2021, to don't let this go, man. Don't let this go. Don't let this go. So it's good to have someone in your corner like that. But I was running an insurance agency, and I sold that, and I was working for another company, a great company, and it was the 3-year time. So I had been doing it for 3 years, and I was like, I think now's the time. It felt right. And I have the most supportive family in the world, so it was nice to have them behind me say, do it. So
can you talk a little bit more about the importance of decentralization? I think you saw all the bad things from being in the insurance industry first, so you have experience like now with your new blockchain but also the old ways and like what was wrong with the old ways. So can you explain some of the things that were wrong, and then how decentralization and a democratized insurance protocol is solving these problems?
Of course. So I always start by saying I do believe in insurance. I think insurance is necessary. I think our economy depends on it. And I think it's a noble vision, right? Like, to get people whole who have been, lost either money or lost property, whatever. I think the problem is it has grown to be this situation that is subjective, and it does leave people out of the loop. So the whole idea of decentralized insurance and democratized insurance is that instead of just a few people reaping the rewards of insurance, and having that incentive, like how much investment return can we make? What are our rate filings? Are we meeting regulatory, all that. This democratized version lets everyone be a player in that. And there's other things like that in traditional insurance, mutuals, things like that. But democratized insurance to me is everyone's participating. They're participating in the risk. They're participating in the reward. They're participating as a community to help guide what coverages are important to them and what isn't important to them. And they're given access to all of that information. So there's no, behind the curtain math. It's all right there. I believe that brings efficiency, which is something that the insurance industry really struggles with, right? And it's not like they're this evil group of people, laughing and twiddling their thumbs in some, high rise somewhere, but like, it just is the way it is. It's going to provide opportunity for a lot of people. It's going to provide options. And the entire premise of democratized is, if that risk pool returns a 15% return, that's going to be shared with everybody who's participating in that risk pool. And if somebody wants their data because it would help do something, they can ask, and that's the Verida partnership. They can ask that end user for the data and pay them for the data, not, so it takes all the disincentive out and incentivizes like that good community participation.
Can you talk a little bit more about the Verida partnership? And I also want to talk more about why you chose Algorand too. But first, why Verida, and then why Algorand?
Yep. So I was in Miami at the Decipher conference, Algorand's Decipher conference, and I met Chris, who is the CEO of Verida, and hit it off. He's just such a good guy. We kept talking. He's in Australia, I'm in Boston, so time zones are a little wacky, but we fought through it. But that partnership was important for me because of the way they treat the concept of a digital wallet beyond just money and also data. So whatever data you quote unquote give to Nimble, you're actually controlling it through the Verida wallet. So you own that data. We can ask you for that data, and you can decide whether you want to provide it or not. It gives this consensual transfer of data, and also a decentralized model where it isn't just your money's decentralized, your data is as well, and you control it. That was important because that's a major source of pain in the insurance industry, the amount of data that they do have on us. How fast are we driving? How, whatever, how hot is our house? How cold is all those things. I don't think we need that kind of information as an insurance provider. And if we think we do, we can ask you for it, and you can decide to give it to us.
Yeah.
And that's what that partnership's about.
It's good. It's about respecting the customer too.
100%. 100%. Yep.
All right. Can we go into why you chose Algorand? There's a lot of Algorand fans definitely who have been watching the show. So what was your process of choosing blockchains maybe, and how did you ultimately choose that Algorand was the one that you wanted to build on?
Yeah. I was glad when you asked if Thursday would work, because I'm actually in the Algorand office today. And I was oh, that's a perfect timing. When I started thinking about this, David Dufresne is the first person who introduced me to Algorand. Like I had heard of it, but I hadn't really gone all the way in. But they were top of the list because, and it's probably the same things you hear all the time. No downtime. The transaction, the fees are realistic and affordable, like to be able to operate. And then just the fact that the carbon negative, right? Like it's so important. And it drove it home completely. I was already committed to Algorand for all those reasons. I think it is the future. I think Algorand will be the blockchain that can really deliver on all these promises. And then at Decipher, hearing Silvio speak about what he believes Algorand is, and seeing that level of conviction. I have 22 years in insurance. I've never seen anyone in a leadership position speak with that level of conviction, like emotional. And I'm like, yeah, this is about community. That they built it that way. It's effective and it works, and the technology is great. So it's like kind of a no-brainer.
Amazing. Yeah, I think you hit all the points of like all the great things about Algorand. And personally, I come from a climate science background. So when I saw Algorand's up to it, I was like, wow, we need more projects on this, because we can't have all these projects having a large environmental impact on like proof of work. Like that's not sustainable. As blockchain Web3 grows, like we cannot keep doing this.
No, and that's exactly it. And if the goal is not to just be this really hip thing to talk about at a party about how much money you have in crypto, if the end goal is adoption and utility, then you're just like you said, it can't be inefficient. You can't really say, well, we get this, but we have to give up that. Like we're really efficient, but we use a lot of energy. Like to see that you can do both, I think it fits the concept of decentralization as well. Like companies can make money, but so can the people involved in that process. Like the whole thing, that whole idea of community empowerment, opportunity, these words that we've been using, it isn't about we'll take this and we'll have to give up that. It's about finding a way to make it all work.
You also have a DAO, correct? Yeah.
So the risk pools will be operated basically like DAOs. So the community so our first market of off-chain, so like real tangible property, is music equipment. Based on my background in music.
Okay, that makes sense now.
Now it makes sense. Yeah, people are like, why? So those communities will be set up based on our the data we have and the AI that we're building to make sure that it groups people into the most profitable risk pools. Those risk pools will be a community that can determine whether a claim is approved or denied, whether a certain coverage they don't need, whether they need an actuary to come participate and help them out to better understand what's happening in the system. So yeah, it operates like a DAO.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, that was what I was going to say about music too, because it's important. but we talk about utility,
Mhm.
bringing people on chain. And that's one of the reasons our first market is music, is because that community is so robust and so engaged. And what we're doing is building what's called snap appraisal, and that's the onboard to Nimble. Snap appraisal means you can take a picture of your guitar, or 2 or 3 or whatever. Our AI will analyze that, determine the year, make, model of the guitar, and then the value. And then when you get your digital proof of that value, it's an NFT. So you're now have a NFT, one-to-one, that will follow the life of that guitar. So if I sell it to you, then the NFT goes to you. And it continues with the lifestyle, continuing to gain data, continuing to become valuable in its own right.
Amazing.
Mm,
The way too to get people, I guess, exposed to this new technology too, maybe musicians who hadn't
yes,
even thought about blockchain before.
absolutely it. Absolutely it. And you see how the how much of an impact blockchain can have on the creator economy. And
Mhm.
for me, if you have an NFT, related to this guitar, and you're a working musician, and maybe you could use the NFT as collateral to get a non-traditional loan, so you can record that next album, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can use all these ways and exchange across, and that's that value prop, right? There's so many opportunities for people, and you're absolutely right. Bringing them on to the chain to say, hey, look what you can do on here. That's all part of it.
We're all for wider adoption. What are your goals to bring more people in, and what's your strategy right now, I guess?
Yeah, that's a great question.
How can we help too? Like this huge little YouTube community, and how can we support
Yeah.
what you're doing? Because I
Well,
really love what you're doing here.
I appreciate that so much. I do think and I say this all the time, but I believe it 100%. I think, my entire life I've felt this way. It is about community. I don't mean it's about like virality of like making the coolest thing ever that everyone wants to follow, but Nimble can't be nimble without that community, that sense of support from a community, that people truly join because, sure, they have something to win too, but they know that it's helping other people win as well. So, we're starting now with partnerships that, besides the Verita one, other partnerships in the music space that we can't announce yet, but we're working on those to help get the word out. And then along with that kind of insurance, we also are working on DAO governance liability insurance, and on-chain digital asset insurance. So between that off-chain community and then the crypto enthusiasts,
Yeah,
there's an opportunity for everyone to participate. And
definitely.
for a coin offering, when we get to our coin offering, I think people will be able to see that value of, oh, I can participate in this insurance process that I've never been able to participate in before.
Mhm.
And it's a very old industry for a reason. It's very lucrative. So
Very true.
I think it's getting the word out, to be honest. So I appreciate you saying that, asking that.
Yeah, I'll definitely link your website below later so they
For
can check
sure.
it out again. And I don't know if I linked
Twitter.
up the other Farida video, but I'll make
Yeah,
sure we'll see that one too.
for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. And we do have, I will say that one thing I can say is that working on a super cool like kind of partnership with the Gecko NFT. That's Mama Gecko, that
Yeah.
NFT on. I'm working with them that we're gonna do like a limited minting of a bunch of geckos. So we'll be announcing that. We'll be announcing that next week.
Very cool. I'll look out for that. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen cool little projects like that.
I love it. I love it. Plus, I love those geckos so much.
Do you think as you grow, just curious, like, do you think you'll get backlash from traditional insurance? Like, I don't know what they can do to you specifically, but yeah, have you been getting any complaints from like old
Hopefully,
brokers? Like, what's he doing now?
yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna go out of business.
Yeah. If I start seeing like all black sedans with their lights off parked outside my house, I'll be like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? It's funny because I actually don't think so. I
Really
truly
grow.
believe that one thing that insurance companies are very good at is capital solvency. Like, they have a lot of money. They've spent a lot of time understanding minimum capital requirements and all that. I see Nimble, as it relates to more traditional insurance, being a way for them to plug some capital in and get the benefits of this more efficient, forward thinking process without having to invent it themselves. So they can still generate interest and income for themselves. They can still be profitable, but they can kind of unbundle all the things that kind of cause them a little grief, and still provide that level of security that they provide to a lot of people, to know that they have a lot of money behind them. So that's what I see. I see them more like, hey, let's just, plug in the capital pipeline right into there and be a supporter that way.
Make everyone more efficient. Okay, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully they're not, trying to knock on my door.
If you do have sedans, we'll know what happened. You're like, okay, like Nimble just got so.
I got the community behind me, right? Yeah.
You got your community, yeah. So you'll just like call up everyone.
That's right. For sure.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our community here, or?
I don't think so. I appreciate everyone's support and continued support, and follow us on Twitter, send an email. You can put my email on here. I'll answer any questions anyone has.
I'll put that in the description too, so they can.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And just stay tuned. We're excited. All
right. Well, we're going to do our little outro then. And it's our thing that we'll just do a double wave at the end after we say bye.
Of course.
That's how it usually works. But thank you so much for your time, Adam. And just love sharing all these Algorand projects. And I'm glad that we were able to connect online.
Same. Appreciate it.
Well, that's it for today. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. I'll link all of Adam's info too below if you want to reach out to him. And I'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.
See ya.